Cinema has lost its dominant cultural position. But is cinema dead? Film gave way to television as a cultural dominant a long time ago in the mid-20th century, and television in turn has given way in recent years to computer and network-based and digitally generated new media. Stephen Shaviro calls this world a post-cinematic. The question is, do new media replace cinema? Or might there be the chance for a symbiosis between the media taking into account their individual benefits and their united financial and creative potential? One opportunity of combining the different media is represented by transmedia storytelling.
The story or experience is spread across a variety of media platforms, not in a way that's redundant, but rather in a way that's complementary, so that each platform contributes what it does best.
Bearing in mind the changes in the post-cinematic world and the opportunities of transmedia storytelling, I postulate that there can be a new narrative quality to the post-cinematic cinema, and there is more to today's media than competition with other media, a symbiotic relationship. To get an idea how transmedia storytelling works and how it developed, we need to go back in time to a galaxy far, far away. The first Star Wars trilogy gave birth to one of the biggest and most successful franchises of all time. When Star Wars Episode I The Phantom Menace was released in 1999, a tremendous transmedia network has evolved. A huge variety of novels, comics, games, video games and parodies often created by fans of the early movies were available and offered various entry points for different target groups to Star Wars. All these media take place in the storyverse created by George Lucas in his space opera, even though they often deal with side characters, places or events that were shown rather shortly in the movies. But how can these different media be interwoven with one another? Star Wars Clone Wars is an animated microseries taking place during the time period between Star Wars Episode II Attack of the Clones and Star Wars Episode III Revenge of the Sith. This series aired simultaneously on Cartoon Network as well as online. One of the main antagonists in Revenge of the Sith was introduced in Clone Wars, General Grievous.
Back away! I will deal with this Jedi slime myself!
When most viewers encountered the General in Episode 3 for the first time, there was not even any introduction to him. What had happened to him that he was constantly coughing? Was it just a trademark to recognize him as a literally diseased antagonistic creature? Only if you watched Clone Wars in advance, you would be acquainted with the Jedi slaughtering antagonist who got into a fight with Jedi Master Mace Windu while kidnapping Senator Palpatine, who injured his lungs right before Grievous fled into orbit. Where he was attacked by the Republican army in the beginning of Episode 3.
Lock onto him, R2. Master, General Grievous' ship is directly ahead.
The series provides the fans with new insights and background stories which get in touch with the protagonists, but often focus on side characters and side events of the Star Wars movies, paying their own contribute to the fans' understanding of the expanded Star Wars universe and can at some point even be strongly interwoven with the main plot. Star Wars can be seen as a conjunction between the traditional storytelling methods of the first trilogy and the transmedia experience delivered by later works. In respect to post-cinematic aspects, there are other examples for intended and planned transmedia storytelling making use of a variety of media. This takes us to the end of the 20th century with its constantly evolving and all-embracing digital world. In his book, Convergence Culture, Henry Jenkins describes the Matrix as, quote-unquote, entertainment for the age of media convergence, integrating multiple texts to create a narrative so large that it cannot be contained within a single medium. The Wachowskis wanted to wind the story of the Matrix across all of these media and have it all add up to one compelling whole. It is important to have a closer look at the interconnections between the various Matrix texts to acknowledge the transmedia experience. The first short story told in the Animatrix, Final Flight of the Osiris, tells the story of a hovercraft in stunning, almost photorealistic animations.
Oh my god.
It's an army.
Oh no.
What?
Look where we are. What's 4 kilometers straight down? Zion has to be warned.
How?
Someone has to get to a drop point.
What? Are you crazy? We can't broadcast now.
We have to.
Ultimately, the crew is able to deliver the letter right before the machines destroy the hovercraft.
Is it important? Very. I hope it gets where it's supposed to go.
In the first mission of Enter the Matrix, the gamer has to retrieve said letter from the post office.
We're in.
You got 10 minutes until the post office closes. There's a ton of heat in the area, but the package is still untouched. Box number is 731222.
Got it.
Its content is later on discussed in the beginning of Matrix Reloaded, revealing the disastrous plan of the daunting enemy.
These geotherms confirm the last transmission of the Osiris. The machines are digging.
For people who see only the movie, the source of the information remain unclear, but someone who has a Transmedia experience will have played an active role in delivering the letter and may have traced its trajectory across 3 different media, resulting in a much more rewarding experience. The rescue of Morpheus in The Matrix Reloaded can be seen in a similar way. Trinity and Morpheus flee with the Keymaker when they get to a highway chased by agents and other programs. Morpheus gets into a fight with an agent on the top of a driving lorry and eventually gets knocked off the truck just to fall into the hood of Neob's car, which unexpectedly appears behind the truck just in time to rescue Morpheus.
Gotcha.
She's good.
Not unexpectedly for gamers of Enter the Matrix though, as it is their mission to get to the highway and catch up with the truck in time. The Matrix reveals another truth accompanying the very positive approach of a creative expansion of fan-beloved stories over several media: strong economic motives. To get the most compelling experience of the Matrix storyverse, the consumer is expected to watch the 3 movies and animes, read the mangas, comics and graphic novels, play the games, and invest a huge amount of time for online research beforehand to make the most of the individual experiences. The recent rumors about a new Matrix trilogy even fueled this impression. Matrix paved the way for further Transmedia experiences, but it was not developed as such from the start, but spread across several media as it gained a certain momentum after its first success. To understand how Transmedia storytelling is planned right from the beginning, we need to have a look at the second most successful franchise of all times, which started on colored comic pages. Marvel has evolved from a publisher of comics that seemed to be only another small competitor to DC, into a multi-billion-dollar publishing company, which is not only focused on comics, but as well on movies, TV series, cartoons and video games, which mostly refer to characters and story arcs of the extensive and pre-existing Marvel comic universe created throughout the last 75 years. Marvel's so-called Phase 1 consisted of 6 movies and 3 one-shots, whereby 5 movies can be seen as forerunners, as they do not only introduce the protagonists and antagonists, but significant story details as well, which then ultimately come together in the 6th movie, The Avengers. 5 movies follow Phase 1 in addition to the TV series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., considered as Phase 2, playing after the events of The Avengers and ending up in the final movie of Phase 2, Avengers: Age of Ultron. All movies and TV series use characters and settings based on the extensive Marvel comic universe, but they are no mere retellings of the earlier stories, but rather newly developed story arcs with heroes, villains, events and objects known to fans of the comics, which represent a rich source for new material, and feeding the fans' expectation as they want to be offered new insight and new experiences to known characters and stories. One example of the intertwining of narrative elements is an ancient energy source called Tesseract. This cosmic cube appears as an object of desire in Captain America: The First Avenger, when the Red Skull uses the power of a aforementioned cube for superior weaponry against the Allies. In the end, Captain America is able to save the day by making an emergency landing over the North Pole with an aircraft which carries the Tesseract, resulting in deep free sleep for 70 years. Ultimately, he and the Tesseract are found by S.H.I.E.L.D. and woken up shortly before the events of The Avengers, in which the Tesseract is used as an energy source to open a gate for the invading alien forces controlled by Loki, but as well for new weapons by S.H.I.E.L.D.
What is Phase 2? Phase 2 is S.H.I.E.L.D. uses the cube to make weapons.
The TV series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. premiered on the 24th of September 2013, shortly before the release of Thor: The Dark World. In the series, which revolves around a small team of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents led by Agent Phil Coulson, who is known to the audience by his appearances in Iron Man 1 and 2 and Thor, the team has to deal with subsequent events after the Avengers. The interconnection of media can be seen as the events take place on the same timeline and in the same Marvel Cinematic Universe as the movies. The events of Thor: The Dark World, released on the 8th November 2013, include the destruction of vast parts of London by an attacking alien race. The episode of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. aired the week after the release deals with the aftermath of these events.
But now we know the stories were true. Other worlds with names like Asgard do exist. And beings once revered as gods like Thor have returned, leaving us with more questions and
an enormous mess to clean up.
Don't say I never gave you anything.
Checking for alien spectrographic signatures, one teeny rock at a time.
Necessary precaution. We don't want anything alien getting in the wrong hands.
Still, this is definitely the type of work a monkey could easily do.
You're our little monkey.
Events such as in Thor: The Dark World and the attacks on New York in the Avengers have an impact on the cinematic universe, and are referred to in the following movies and events.
That was from New York.
I like her.
Similar to the aforementioned Star Wars and The Matrix, Marvel uses transmedia storytelling to deliver a bigger and compelling whole. But this example shows again the importance of a central creator or creative unit maintaining control. With regard to The Matrix, all control lay with the Wachowskis. With regard to Star Wars, it was George Lucas. When examining the Marvel Cinematic Universe, director and screenwriter Joss Whedon and Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige are the ones creating the frame for future projects. And even though Guardians of the Galaxy plays at a different place, it is still a part of the Marvel Universe and possibly interwoven with the existing Avengers storyverse.
In the first Thor movie, you see the Infinity Gauntlet, which is this glove that the different gems go into that Thanos had from a really successful comic book series. But I think Marvel opening up their cosmic universe to make the worlds seem larger is going to dovetail into Avengers 3. I'm assuming Thanos will be Avengers 3 because I'm assuming lots of these actors' contracts are up, so they're going to use them for the big bang at the end.
Cinema is not dead. Cinema has evolved and got integrated into today's multimediality. Even though cinema lost its impact in today's post-cinematic world, this does not necessarily mean new media replaced cinema. Rather do these examples show the importance of adapting to the changes, as they bear great opportunities for fans and industry alike. Fans gain more insights into the world they love, which is continuously expanded, much more immediate, and with multiple new ways to be expressed, whereas the industry can still count on massive revenues generated by these franchises in cinema, in addition to their revenues in other media. However, there is always the need for a certain and often financially successful starting point. And even though 2 of the 3 analyzed examples started their triumphal procession in cinemas, it is not predetermined in which media a transmedia story might start in the 21st century. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is based on comics, similar to The Walking Dead. Other franchises such as Need for Speed and Assassin's Creed are based on video games, and franchises such as Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings are adaptations based on books. In what way the labor of the fans is exploited needs to be analyzed in further details in the time yet to come, as transmedia storytelling is advancing and adopted by an increasing number of the studios as they recognize the financial potential. Bearing in mind a young audience familiar to transmedia experiences such as Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh!, it seems to be an easy guess where Hollywood is headed.
Sony has revealed its big plans to expand the Spider-Man franchise into a larger movie universe, officially announcing spin-off movies for Venom and the Sinister Six. Sony has formed a brain trust that will collaborate on overseeing a story that will develop over several films and maintain a continuous tone. Director Mark Webb will work with this brain trust. Alex Kurtzman, Roberto Orci, and Ed Solomon will write Venom, and Star Trek Into Darkness writer Alex Kurtzman will direct it. Drew Goddard, screenwriter for World War Z and Cabin in the Woods, will write and possibly direct Sinister Six. He is also serving as showrunner for the upcoming Daredevil series for Netflix by Marvel Studios. Sony's announcement of these Spider-Man spin-offs is the latest example of what some refer to as the Avengers effect in Hollywood, as studios work to build interlocking movie universes, especially where superheroes are concerned. Warner Brothers, of course, is adding Batman and Wonder Woman to the next Superman movie, while 20th Century Fox is making plans for a shared universe for the 2 Marvel franchises they own the movie rights to, X-Men and Fantastic Four. Spider-Man is the most successful franchise in the history of Sony's Columbia Pictures, and the 4 Spider-Man films to date have taken in over $3.2 billion worldwide.